Well, hello, welcome back to Create Your World. And I hope that your 2026 has been going amazing so far. I have something big coming up at the end of this month, beginning of next month. I'll be doing some traveling, going to the United States to visit for a few weeks. So in roughly 30 days, I will have already gone through the pain of a very long flight, but it's much needed. I look forward to seeing everybody I haven't seen in a long time. Of course, there are things that would cause me to travel sooner, and these are the things that I look for. One of them, of course, if there is some hardships or emergencies that happen within my family, something that I think I can actually help or prevent, then yeah, that would be a reason to go fast. Also, I'm watching carefully with some of the news reports that come out. I don't want to be inside of China if it goes to war, for example. If this country is at war, I won't feel at peace and I will want to be somewhere else. I think that should be super clear. And there's another one, and this is a little bit of a, really a metaphor, but you have to use your brain a little bit to follow along. There was a story, if you are referencing the Bible of the Old Testament, where this guy goes to dig a well. And you know, you need wells for water. And if you have cattle and things like this, it's a source for life and for living. You're not going to grow too many crops. You're not going to have too many sheep or cattle if you have no water. This will present a big challenge, especially if you're in a more arid and dry environment like a desert. And the story goes where this person takes the effort to dig the well, and the people of the land, they come to war where they are fighting over this well that was dug. And he simply leaves and goes and digs a well somewhere else. If I look at my livelihood and what I am providing as a resource for the people here and what it's doing for me, if that well dries up, then I'm going to go somewhere else and dig another well. I'm not going to stay in the same place if it's stagnant, if there's no development happening. And so I'm trying to keep my pulse on things like that too, because I'm not going to say that the economy is terrible here like the news would suggest. I might be in a little bit of an economic bubble because Shenzhen has so much big business and technology. They are feeling the crunch, but maybe not as much as other parts of the country. So I can't speak to that in good faith. But I know that also in the States, there's an economic crunch. And even though things may be turning around and getting better, when I hear what my friends spend when they go out to eat, when they go to the grocery store, when they put gas in their cars, I know that it's still a lot more to live there than it is to live here. So there is a benefit. And if you are looking to come to China, just know that if you are younger in age, you have a lot of energy, you have something to bring to the table to contribute, and you're interested in the culture, then by all means, it's not a bad place to go. They're very safe and organized and civil, and they treat foreigners quite well. They treat them fairly. Let's be clear. They're not going to let you get away with things you may have seen online in other countries what tourists do. And I think there should be some common sense at play. I get concerned sometimes when I see the news back in the States. I saw something recently where a woman is blocking law enforcement officers, and there's a lot of shouting, and they're telling her to get out of her car, and then she drives towards the law enforcement officer. The agency is ICE. Now, unfortunately, it ended up with her losing her life. But it should be pretty clear when you are being faced with authority in any land you are in, you're supposed to follow the direction they give you. So if they give you a mandate or very firm action you're supposed to do, and you don't do that, they react. If they feel threatened or there is something that could endanger them, they react more severely. So I know there's a lot of different views on that situation that happened in the States, and I know our country is a bit divided, especially with politics and everybody having their different views on things. I have watched different channels. I try to find ones that use ground news so they can see both the left and the right and the middle, what gets overlooked and not mentioned. And no, they're not a sponsor for my video. I'm not getting that detailed on news things at this time. But when you're talking about creating your world and having a creative mind, you need to be open to realizing that the messages that are being fed to you through media and some online influencers often include a certain narrative. And it's a healthy thing to do your own research, look into things, and form your own opinions. Don't just let people tell you what to think. And that's concerning the news and politics and everything else. So this creative process goes into many different areas, and it's really challenging you to actively think. Don't just take it in. Because if you just, let's go back to creating stuff. You can draw a really nice flower, okay? Maybe it's a tulip, maybe it's a daisy, doesn't matter. A sunflower, okay. And you draw this gorgeous flower and people are like, wow. If you listen to the input of exactly how other people tell you to draw that flower, then in a way your flower is going to look almost like everybody else's. If I see a child learning to draw a character they like from a show, like a cartoon or a comic book, I usually see them draw a very specific pose. And they just, I don't know if they trace it or if they learn it to draw it just one way. One immediate thing you can do to increase your ability to draw and to understand the movement of things is to not use the exact position you see the character in. Think about, how does the character move? What would the character be like if they were sitting on a sofa or laying on a bed or walking in the park? It gives you a chance to explore some different options, and maybe how is their emotion? If they are angry, if they are sad, if they are happy, how would that change the way that they stand, the way they walk, the way that their face looks? And this gives them a chance to explore more with that character. So now take it into your worldview on things you're doing, maybe around your house, maybe that you're hearing online, and realize that there should be some creative process going on. You shouldn't just take what everybody else says as absolute, especially when people are very emotionally involved in a situation. And it's very unfortunate when there's a loss of life. But in some cases where people are just emotionally charged, be cautious to just run along with the crowd. Look into things. Don't just always repeat what you've heard. Find out for yourself, because it's a little dangerous to become very narrow-minded in your views on anything in this world. I mean, there are some things that I'm pretty opinionated about, and I don't see myself changing views. But that doesn't mean that I won't do my own research and that I won't listen as people that have opposite or conflicting views say something to me about something I might believe strongly in. I don't just block them out completely. If I know where they're coming from enough and they're really just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs or something crazy, then yeah, you got to take it with a grain of salt, but you at least allow them to speak. Sometimes when we are talking with people, there's that release valve and they're just venting, and you can recognize this behavior and don't take everything that they're saying as absolute truth. They're going through something, it's important to them. They are vocalizing it to you, and a lot of people, they just need an ear to speak and get some of this pressure off. So as I come to the end of the video now, there's some unusual things that happen this time of year in China. New Year's, you know, when it goes from 2025, 2026, everybody knows this New Year's. And in China, they have two. They have that New Year's, and they also have the Chinese New Year's, which celebrates kind of the lunar movement of the moon. And this year it's happening in February. For whatever reason, they didn't have hardly any fireworks in China this year. The government put a on that. I'm not going to speak to why or anything really detailed about that. The only thing that threw me off about it is when I think about fireworks, I think about these gunpowder things that were created in China. I thought that was like where these came from. And I kind of connected it with a part of their heritage. And I figured it would be kind of something they would use every year. And I am pretty sure that during the Chinese New Year, there is going to be some fireworks. I would be shocked if there wasn't. And my friend told me that when they are very strict on one year for a holiday, that maybe the next year you'll see a lot more of it going on where they're less strict. So I guess the same thing I was telling you, how you allow someone to have this pressure release valve when they're talking about things that are stressful in their life. Holidays in some countries, it's like that stress relief valve where people let off steam or get extremely emotional about different things. In the Chinese New Year's I've seen in the past, I would see groups of people inexplicably just excited and happy for, on the outside, no apparent reason. Obviously, there's a lot connected that is going on inside that I can't see. But whatever is giving them hope and making them look forward to tomorrow, I think this has a good place. If you're a person of faith, there's already something that you wake up and look forward to each day. You don't even need a holiday to experience that. And yes, if you've been watching the videos, you understand that holiday coming from holy day is observation, remembrance of things that are important in our beliefs and our religion. So all that being said, yeah, I'm flying out of here at the beginning of February. If you're in my East Coast area of the States, then I'll probably get to see you, say hi, maybe share a meal or a walk. I love going for walks. And hopefully the weather's not terrible, because it's still February and it can be quite cold. Here, I have to wear a jacket most days, but it doesn't get that cold. I think it's been below 40 a few times. You know, it's about the same weather as you would have in Miami, Florida. If you like what you've seen, be sure to click and subscribe, and, you know, put any kind of comments down there that helps me know what kind of videos and content you look forward to or what might be helpful for you. And I plan to make at least a few more appearances before I make my trip to the States. Probably during travel, it'll be less, but it's not going to go away. So until I see you again, create your world.